on the Olga Land channel. Today we're going to talk about renting a car in Turkey. What tourists need to know when you want to rent a car in Turkey.
Olga Land. Yachts, transfers, excursions, both group and individual. Everything you seek in Antalya. Subscribe.
We deliver the cars directly to the hotel, and accordingly we pick them up from the hotel. If you're renting a car for a long period and you need to pick it up at the airport, we will bring the car to the airport. Some people calculate if they take a car at the airport, skip the transfer and drive, for example, to Alanya, and then return it there. That scheme doesn't work because you'll also be charged an extra fee for a one-day transfer. If it's for a month, then of course there are no extra charges, even for 2 weeks. If it's for a few days, we deliver it to the hotel. The first thing that catches tourists' eyes when renting a car in Turkey is the price. But you need to understand that almost 100% of this includes the tax on the purchase of the car. So, cars in Turkey are very expensive. And their maintenance and insurance and, of course, very expensive cars are not given away for cheap. Even from the perspective of safety and protecting your finances, no one is going to give it away cheaply. And depreciation for those who understand this matter should also be appropriate. So the price is often almost twice as high as in Europe. And this is the norm for Turkey, the norm for the liquid use of cars. But at the same time, renting a car in Turkey definitely opens up many more opportunities to see something without waiting for the group. And the traffic in Turkey is quite lenient, but you need to know a few nuances. While driving, first let me tell you about the rental rules and then some nuances about driving in Turkey so that those who haven't rented a car before understand what to pay attention to. As for the rental rules, when you rent a car, of course, a contract is definitely signed. The contract is in Turkish. You can easily translate it using Google Translate. But there's a nuance that not many people know about, and they end up overpaying. The nuance is in the insurance. In Turkey, there is no full insurance. If during the rental they tell you that the insurance is full, just pay an extra $10 and it will be full. No, these people are just taking all the risks on themselves. Actually, and it's not a fact that they cover it. In reality, there is no such insurance. In the company, there is rental car insurance. What does rental car insurance imply? If you cause damage of more than 2% of the car's value, then this insurance covers it. If you cause damage of less than 2% of the car, like a small scratch, some kind of, if it's small, insignificant things, then the tourist has to pay for that. And those who rent out cars usually take a deposit of $100 or $50. So, the smallest damages are covered by the user themselves. The rental car company monitored all speed limit violations themselves and could warn tourists that they had violated the rules and that they needed to pay the fine so that we could accordingly pay it to the gendarmerie. Right now, there's traffic police. Now, the rules have changed, and if you violated something, we will hold you accountable. It's not us, but they ask you at the border. So, those tricksters who used to rush to return the car before the information came in, hoping to leave the country, that won't work anymore in every sense of the word. You'll be stopped at the border and asked to pay the fine. So you also again left, but then when you check in, you have, in any case, these fines will all come to light. So it's better not to break the rules. What does it mean to not break the rules? In Russia, you can exceed the speed limit by plus 20 km/h. But in Turkey, it's considered differently. Here, it's plus 10% to the specified speed. I always recommend using Yandex.Navigator. It adequately shows all the locations. And it also displays a reasonable normal speed limit that you can rely on. And you might even notice a detail on the highways, where, for example, the speed limit is 82 km/h. Accordingly, they took those 8% into account. So on this highway you can drive at 90. That's why with such small speed inaccuracies are also indicated, taking those 10% into account. There are also a lot of radars that don't just capture the initial speed, but they measure the speed, especially in places like tunnels, from the beginning of the route to the end. And they measure the average speed. Therefore, if you suddenly exceeded the speed limit when entering the zone at a certain speed, then it's better just drive a little slower, lower your average speed, and then you won't have any problems. Another detail about driving. This is a roundabout. There are a lot of accidents specifically at roundabouts. Why? Because first of all, in roundabouts, most often there are traffic lights at every turn. And traffic lights work differently here in Turkey, by the way. And some people say, look, the driver arrived at a red light. If in the last few seconds the red light is on, but here, on the contrary, according to the traffic rules, you have to go through that red light so that you don't get hit from behind. The car didn't crash. When it's really on and you're driving at high speed, it doesn't just blink. It actually changes, for example, from red. You don't stop suddenly, you just pass through. That's not considered a violation. All traffic lights are made in such a way that all these cars didn't manage to get through, and all the traffic lights stay green for much longer. It's not like in Russia, where when you turn, you have to look to the right and yield to traffic. So, here, there's a traffic light at every turn. There's a traffic light for every movement. So, the intersections will be a bit longer, but much safer. It's much more convenient, not just for men, but also for women, as you can understand. But the traffic, for example, in Istanbul and in Antalya and in the resort cities, of course, is different. So you need to pay attention here. Regarding the traffic light, there's one more nuance. If you see a flashing red light at side turns, it means you can go, but only with caution. If you've stopped and see that the red light is constantly on and not blinking, meaning it's a non-passing moment, it means you can go, but only with caution. When someone rents a car from us, we always make sure to tell them where they can go with it. All our cars are connected to GPRS, so we can help you navigate. If you happen to get lost, we can help you as a navigator. They haven't been putting navigators in cars for a long time, with phone navigators. Sometimes I'm even surprised by such questions. Our company now has a completely new fleet of cars. For example, right now we're sitting in a Clio. Here, it's an automatic transmission. There's a rear view camera, and we also have manual cars as well as few automatic ones. So, feel free to write if you want to rent a car in Kemer or Antalya. We'll be happy to help and advise you. Despite the fact that our car map is quite large, by the way, all our cars are standing still. Here. So, you need to book in advance. In any case, you need to book in advance, especially during the season. People book 2 weeks, a week, or even a month in advance if it's for a long term. So it's better to write in advance. Let us know that you want to make a reservation, and we'll tell you when it's best to do it. All the best. We're waiting for you.
I'm sincerely and truly wishing you all the very best in everything you do, in all your future endeavors. We're waiting for you in Turkey. Natalia, let's Skype.